All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a Friday Chord Academy lesson. Oh, I'm dropping my phone. Chord Academy lesson. This is an open lesson for our YouTube community. I think things are going really well with our YouTube group, so it's great to see all of you. And we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about voicings as it relates to jazz piano trio. We're going to talk about the blues scale and how you can use some improv ideas, as well as we're going to do a little bit on the enclosure idea. This idea of do nothing till you hear from me, and also walking bass. We're going to talk about that. And let me see, there are three things mainly: scales, chords, and walking bass. And I have some etudes and things like that that we're going to use, as well as a backing track that is in the folder. All right, so good morning to Chord Academy, and good morning to our YouTube channel, and good morning to our YouTube membership, and good morning to our All Access Academy. I'm still waking up. All right, let me do my good mornings. Dad, good morning to you. First on as well. Vicky, good to see you. Close second. Bill, one of our newest member to the All Access group is Bill. Make sure you say hello to Bill. And of course, Doug, who's a member of our YouTube channel. Awesome. All right, and let's see. Hugh, Bookends of iMusicAcademy, also a member, and Rick, a good member, all the way down there. Rick is at like 8th or so. Just kidding. Good to see you, Rick. I feel like I'm supposed to start working out again with Rick, always working out. All right, let's go ahead and go through some of these. So make sure that if you're a member of All Access or Chord Academy, I've been sending these files, but you don't have to always just accept them. You should be able to click on the link in the description and you're automatically invited. If for some reason you're not, just click it and I'll approve you again and again. But I think sometimes it has to do with if you don't have a Gmail address or something like that. So we'll always make sure you're good. But let me just show you really quickly. Let's dig in. I want to get into this practicing, and there is a file in here for you guys to practice playing this stuff. So we have the Movin' Jazz Trio Blues. We have this idea, which I love. Excuse me. I love this idea of. This idea goes 5/6 root minor third. And then it goes to pentatonic. And then it does this D7 sharp 9, which we'll talk about. And then it does this little flat 7, and then the blues scale. And I love this turnaround. It does this. So even this idea of the turnaround, you could spend a lot of time on that. It's 1, 6, 2, 5, which we'll also talk about. But notice how that's just straight up blues scale notes. But isn't that nice? If you have a fingering that works for you, we can go right here. 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that works great. I should probably write that in for you guys. And another thing, I'm going to pull up the chat in just a second. I'm looking at just the music right now. I have a lot of different windows for different reasons this morning. But Rick and everybody, this idea, and good morning to you, Vicky, as well. This idea of everything fitting under the hand. So this 5/6 root minor third, flat 7 root. That is gold right there. It doesn't matter the key. 5/6 root. If I'm in the key of C, minor third. Right, you could just for days do that because it hits some really important notes, 5/6 root. And I love to create these etudes that have patterns and things that you'll be able to use in all keys and with really little effort if you break it down. Okay, let's keep going. It looks like we have a really active chat this morning, so just let me make sure I said hello to everybody as we dig into this. And I said hey to Hugh, to Rick, Stan. Awesome. And Rick. All right. Stan, what is going on? Everybody say hello to Stan. All right, so let's dig in. The first thing is let's go to the simple chart, and we're going to talk about the blues. And we're actually going to use our backing track this morning. And I'd love for everybody to use the backing tracks that I create for you guys because it has your left hand, it's drums, bass, and you. So you get to see hear what it's like to sound what you're playing in a trio. So the first thing is this, just like we learn the C blues for a jazz blues, we use 3 flat 7 9 from a C scale, and you can ask questions along the way, especially if you're new here or you're just hanging out from YouTube and you don't understand. But whenever we're spelling scales, we use what we call chord formulas. So left to right, just like you read, and you say 3 of the C scale. Think about the C scale as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 C D E F G A B C, and I say 3 flat 7 9. When you're playing a jazz blues, it's just like a regular blues that goes 1 4 and back to 1 and then 4. So it's a simple blues here, and I go 1. Now I'm going to go 5 5 4 and 1. That's a simple blues, not a jazz blues, even though I'm kind of playing it with a little jazz feel. But a jazz blues is a little bit different. A jazz blues does this. To the 4 chord, 1 chord, and then it goes 2 5 to the 4 chord. So it throws in a 2 5, so G minor, C, and then it goes F sharp, then it goes F sharp diminished, and then it goes 1 chord, 6 chord of the key of C, and then it goes D minor, 2 5, and then it goes 1 6 2 5. So just like I'm showing you, and we do this at iMusicAcademy a lot, we talk about a 1 4 5 blues. So even though you heard a lot of different chords just then, I'm still doing a standard jazz blues. So every time I do it in whatever key I'm doing it, now I'm going to do it in the key of F, and I'm going to show you. I'll play the voicings in the right hand, not what's written on the page, but the formula is the same. F chord, 2 3 chord to the 4 chord of F, which is B flat, 2 3 4 F. Now it's going to do the 2 5, so C minor, F, and then it's going to go B flat, 2 and 3 and 4, and B diminished, and then it's going to do the same thing. 1 chord down to the 6 chord, 2 and 3 to the 2 chord, to the 5 chord. Now we're going to go 1 6 2 5, 1 6. And I did a substitution there, but it's 1 6 2 5 1. So notice that as we start and continue to talk about a jazz blues, it's just like learning a 1 4 5 blues. It's just a few more chords that you add to it. But once you learn that, it's the same thing over and over. Now, you can take any kind of blues and add a bunch of different changes in there. I added one little one there just a second ago. But the idea is this, is don't be intimidated by a jazz blues, because one, we're going to take things really slowly. We've done this in C. You guys have done the C blues many times, and we're going to take our time with it. In just a second, I'm going to put on the track. But I want to check the chat one more time and make sure we're good. All right, everybody's in. Let me make sure I'm up to date on the chat. All right, everybody good? Okay, so the next thing, we have 8 people watching, so that's awesome. Let's dig in. I'm going to turn on the track. Now, what I'm going to do is this. Let's talk again about our left-hand voicings. In C, we start off in this area is where we want our comping voicings, right? We want 3 flat 7 9, and whenever I go to the 4 chord, I go to the F13. A C9 wants to go to an F13. So in the key of C, when I start a blues, everybody make a note. When I start a C blues, I want to stay in this area of the piano, so I'm going to start with my 3 flat 7 9 blues. I'm not going to start with the 13. I'm not going to be up here because it's too high. It gets in the way of my improv. So this is, when I think C blues, I think right here. If I'm doing an F blues, if I start my F blues up here, it's okay, but it's a little bit high to start on a F9, right? It's a little bit high. So I'm going to start on the 13 in this area, because notice what happens, Rick. It keeps us right in this area. I'm on F13, right? And an F13, when it goes to the 4 chord, it wants to go to a 9. So you either want to go from a C, like if you're in the key of C, you want to go from a C9 chord, and to go to an F13, all you do is lower these by a half step. Isn't that amazing right there? 1 chord to the 4 chord. Now, if you're in the key of F, to keep my voicings here, and it's an F blues, I'm going to start on the 13 because it keeps my hand in this butter area of the piano, right? Yeah, that's right. Rick's got it. Rick, for those of you guys who don't know, Rick is the Gandalf of iMusicAcademy. He's always, you can always check the chat for some words of wisdom. The same thing with all of our members. But Rick is constantly writing in very helpful notes. Start on the 13 so it's not too high. So in an F blues, everybody understand, I want you to put got it in the chat. If you're playing an F jazz blues, I want you to start on the 13. That's your first chord. It keeps this in this area. Now 13 a 13 chord wants to go to a 9 chord. 13, 9. So F13 goes to B flat 9. In my right hand, we're going to do this etude in just a second, but I'm going to give you a couple more tips related to our left hand voicings, and then I'll turn on the track. Okay, this first voicing of 3 voicings in the folder is that you're playing the first 5 notes of the blues scale. So even though we're playing a jazz blues, we want to know our blues scale in the same way we know our C jazz blues scale, right? You can use the first 5 notes in C, or you can go all the way up and you can do the top half of the C blues. But now we're in the key of F, and I want you to know this 5-note pattern. And so I did this simple etude. I'm going to turn on the track now. You guys have been patiently awaiting this. So we'll just let it loop over and over. Let me start again. You can tell me if it's too loud or if it's just right. So here we go, F13. One chord. Now watch this, D7, sharp 9. It's great voicing. I'll check the chat in just a second. Now here we go. We're going to go just running the scale up. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Let me stop that just for a second and check on you guys. Let's talk about the volume. How's the volume? Not too loud, not too bad? We okay? All right, now, I want you to notice a couple of things that was happening. Were happening. All right, Doug likes that. Very cool. All right, so watch this. You have this idea. That's Doug's speed. Doug is the speed police of iMusicAcademy. If I'm doing something too much, too fast, whatever, Doug's going to let us know. So this idea of the blues scale. Notice that sometimes, even in this PDF, we go... even on that D7 sharp 9, 5, sharp 5, because if I go down and I end there, it's the same note and it doesn't really work. So sometimes in this PDF, we're going up to the top. So we'll go 2 and 3 and 4 and now watch this. I go up to the C minor, the flat 7, and then I go 2, 3, 4, and watch. And then it does something interesting. It does this. Instead of starting there, I'm starting on the top and coming down. Yeah, so Doug says that so he's referring to the speed, probably in both. It's his speed, but it's really his speed in terms of where he feels comfortable, and I like that. It looks easy to play. And that is absolutely right, Doug. That is the speed of what I love about iMusicAcademy is we're doing a lot of repetition, and that's why when I say to everyone out there watching, I want you to get the 5-note blues scales down, right? So that you can do the same fingering and go up a half step and learn the C sharp blues scale, and the same thing for D, same fingers, but that's why we can take this and transpose it to F. Okay, just by doing that right there, we're building up muscle memory when we do this right here. So when I go up to here, I'm just transposing the same muscle memory up to C, F, and G. And the great thing about the 5-note blues scale as one of many options is that I can use that to play the entire blues. And what I would recommend for you to do, Doug, you are a member of the YouTube channel, and of course all of our academies have the beginning scale sheet. You don't have to be a member to have that beginning scale sheet. I probably approved of 25 or so people in the last couple of weeks to get that PDF. It has these things written out and all the different ways you can play it. Same notes. Just blues scale notes. And once you take those ideas, you could just take one idea, transpose it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let's talk about the right hand, and just spend a little bit of time talking about this idea of the enclosure, which Doug knows, and everybody, Rick knows, that we've been working on enclosures. One of those is the do nothing till you hear from me, right? Or just this, 4 flat third to major third. And if you remember that, got it in the chat, this idea of da-da-da-dum. So even over my jazz blues, I can do that enclosure idea. And I want you guys to continue to focus on this little minor third to major third idea of whatever chord you're on, it works great. Even on the D. Or I could go on the C. And on minor, you can go minor, or you can go major, which I don't want to go down that road. But the main thing is, on our enclosures, you want to go minor third to major third. We'll just stick with that one. You're either going to do this one, or you're going to go. Let's turn on the track and let me demonstrate that, just so I'm not just talking crazy. Let's do the one on Do Nothing. Do that again. Here we go. All right, I'm just going to either do the first 5 notes of the blues scale, or I'll do the enclosure. Same one. Now watch this. Back to the first one. I cheated. I used the extra. Okay, now a couple of things. I'm as I'm playing it, I'm thinking I'm not doing a good job of explaining all the different options. And here's something I need to tell you is sometimes I'm practicing just playing this almost over the whole thing of this one F on F. Just like you learn the F blues scale, I can play this. That's perfect for F. But when it goes to B flat, I want to be on that. And sometimes I'll do so that I get that A flat. And on the G minor, it works perfect. Perfect. So I'm using the F chord, the G minor, and the C, and notice how it all works, right? Even on the G. C. Now B flat. Okay, you guys see what I was doing there? I was just basically saying, all right, you can use it over the F, or you can use it over the G minor, or the C. And it goes back to that idea of visualizing that F triad. And really, if you want to keep it on the more simple side of things, I would practice this one. I would go 4, 2, 4, 5, 3, 3, 1. That way you can go to F and B flat. Right? And just practice doing it that way. So that keeps it really simple. Okay, now, a couple of the other things I wanted to talk about is let's look at the PDFs again. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but isn't that nice? So you're going to turn on the backing track and just practicing getting these voicings down. I want to show you one other thing. I'm going to turn on the track related to that. We're going to go about 10 more minutes and we'll be done. Little extra time today, but I'll try to stay on track. Here we go. So watch your left-hand voicings. If you're on the beginner side of things, just practice this. F13. Now watch. Index up, index down. B flat 9, thumb down a half step for diminished. We have this. D7 sharp 9. We're going to go G minor. And C7, and we'll go 1, 6, 2, 5. I'll put the right hand. 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now blues scale, I would practice going up and down. You can do left hand voicings, but just left hand only, or right hand only, and come up with nice little melodies from the blues scale. And your bonus tip before we move on to the next one is remember that just like in C, if you're doing your C blues scale, and then you put your middle finger on whatever the note is, whatever key you're in, your middle finger, in the key of C, I put my middle finger there, and then my thumb is naturally hovering over the 5th, index finger's the flat 7, and your pinky or your 4th finger is hovering over the minor 3rd. So you have this idea of, so same thing in the key of F. Let me just demonstrate that. Is I'm in the key of F, so I'm going to put my middle finger on F, and I go. the top half of the blues scale with that minor third on top. And I'll just experiment with different sounds and rhythms. Now maybe I want to go back to the first 5 notes. 2 and 3 and 4. Blues scale. I did a little enclosure right there. That was kind of nice. So as you come down the F blues scale, and the F blues scale is just 1, 2, 3, thumb under, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can do 1, 2, 4, 5 if you want. But I like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I did this little thing. I went. There's my little minor third to major third enclosure. All right, let's continue to go through a couple more of these, and then we'll call it a day. All right, the next thing is this. We have, oh, there's your backing track. So you want to make sure you download that, no problem. And then I had this idea. Let's talk a little bit about walking bass lines. Now, we talked about this yesterday in our all access group when I did that early morning stream. But this idea, these are, when I started learning piano in college, this Bill Evans type voicing is what I remember hearing first, well, along with Oscar Peterson things. And that's taking this idea of like the 13 voicing, and you add one more note. You're adding the 9th here. So I have a big, thick voicing here of F13, right? It's like that's kind of thinned out. That's a little bit thicker, a fuller sound. And then you have this. So those are 4-note voicings. Sometimes I'm using those, but I kind of really like the 3-note voicings as well. It all depends on what kind of piano I'm on. And sometimes you just don't want to be too busy. But I wrote these out for you guys so that you'll have them. So that's an F13 because it's got the 9 and the 13. But listen to the sound of this. Played that one wrong. And I did a little substitution there. Okay, so the idea of playing the bass lines, I need to just go ahead and kind of do a disclaimer, especially for our beginners, is that I don't want you guys to think about this is a whole PDF, that this one PDF of walking bass lines is like gold in my opinion, because you're taking concepts. Like on purpose, I did several different concepts just on this one PDF. Like this idea of walking from the 1 up to the 4. Right? So you could go, all right, whole step and then walk chromatically up. That's just one way of a million ways you could walk your bass line. So you take your F13 and you get to there. That's a great thing in any key. And maybe you're just practicing this, and maybe you go to C. Let's do it in C and just show you what I'm talking about. So C13, go up a whole step and chromatically up to the 4. And if you understand that, put got it in the chat. So this is giving you something to, right there, to give you something, muscle memory to build up. And it's not just a muscle memory, it's a, I'll do it in the key of F now since you guys have the music, but we're building up muscle memory and we're building up the sound in our minds. So you won't hear this, if you practice that over and over of getting just this one idea. All right, very good. If you practice this right here, Rick, you're building up muscle memory and you're building up a sound. So that when I play my F blues scale over this and I'm hearing this, I'm not just thinking, my hand is automatically doing that, but I'm also hearing that as a sound. Boom, ba, doo, da, da. And then when I add my right hand, I know it's the sound I'm wanting because I'm hearing the sound just like you will. And 2 and 3 and 4. Now, in the same way that as we build up muscle memory and as we learn these sounds, I could play this. And I could do either one of those. So I go. Okay, guys, so does that make sense? All right, so what we're doing there is I'm showing you even that was 2 different kinds of bass lines, and I'm just going up and down. So, Doug, to answer your question, so normally all these PDFs are either in Chord Academy or in All Access Academy. But as a YouTube member, and you're an elite member, I've made this decision of how I'm going to do it. I'm structuring it to where like we have the different tiers and everything, and I've been giving just tons of things. But I'm going to do 3 PDFs on my elite members for sure, and so I'm going to put these inside that inside the elite thing. That's what I'm happy to do. So whenever I go live and my YouTube members are on the lives, you guys already know I've been getting those things. George, I approved. George is a member of Chord Academy, and I got your email yesterday where I had sent it out to All Access, and I think you said something about it. I was looking for your email, George, and make sure you click on it because you're added to the folder. I looked at it this morning. Let's go ahead and just make sure everybody's good here. And I'm always looking for the next person to join our YouTube channel. It's really growing. It's at 10 people. We have even our All Access members and Chord Academy have double dipped and triple dipped to join our YouTube channel. But it's a really cool little platform because it's all behind the scenes. Let me go. Yeah, George. Hey, George, it's so good to see you on a live. Let me just look at this really quickly. And let me just pull up the folder. This kind of stuff is really important to me to make sure you guys always have access. George, see, I'm showing George. I'm showing your name right there. Boom, and that you have access to it. So let's just. All right, George, check your email just to make sure. It could have something to do with a particular email you're using or something like that. Sure, Doug, of course. So, Doug, as soon as we get done with this, I'm going to put the. Well, Doug, go ahead and click on the link, and I will make sure that this is inside the elite membership part of things. I'm trying to be fair to everybody, and I try to really overgive in all that I do because I want you guys practicing things. But for those of you who are not members of anything and you want an easy way to get access to a lot of stuff and just kind of see if iMusicAcademy is right for you, I would encourage you to join our YouTube membership. I think you'd find it really, really helpful. All you have to do is hit the join button, and you'll see how crazy it is. We have 10 members, and nobody has left our membership. So that's hopefully a good thing. All right, now as we wind this up, I have one more thing to do. let me just check one thing. Let's go back to our teaching aspect of this. All right, so here's what I wanted to tell you guys about this one PDF even right here. And it has killer changes at the end. Killer in a good way. But this idea of here, I use a substitution. So it's going like... And here's the whole point of this particular sheet. This is a journey. This is not like a sheet that you get and you got to be like, oh man, I don't want to be overwhelmed. I'm on the beginner side of things. But you take one measure at a time and you can spend time with this. That is a concept right there. Okay, and then look at the second measure. It does this. Right, this idea of 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Now I also play bass, and we have a lot of multi-instrumentalists at iMusicAcademy, but that kind of line makes me think about bass. That's why I did that. I went, you're walking it up, you go here 2 and 3, 4. Even that as a loop is nice. I'm just doing that bass line. It's all muscle memory, but it's a sound that I want to hear. And the reason that I can hear it is the same way what I want with you guys is you practice one idea, the first measure, and you practice this. Ba, da, 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 and then you could practice as a loop. And over time, you're going to start to notice, oh, you hear that. Now, in our All Access group, I don't want you guys to get off in the weeds with certain things, but there are PDFs that I have that show you how to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the same exercise right here as you walk it up, but you do this kind of sound, then you go up a half step and do the same thing. 2, 3, 4. As a matter of fact, I did this in our Chord Academy as well, these walking bass lines. So if you're a member of Chord Academy, you have those as well. And just to remind you that they're in the folder. All right, so Doug says, great sound, plays bass with walking bass lines. Awesome, and bluegrass style, very easy. Yes, absolutely. All right, so George says he's got it. Perfect. That's important to me. George, so good to see you on the live. All right, so let's just go over what you have in your folder. And remember, take this walking and comping jazz blues as something to work on your skill set. I want everybody to be able to play walking bass lines so that when you're soloing, you can do a mixture of this or this. I could go, that's the blues scale, but I can also put my comping chords. I could go. So comping, now soloing. And notice I switched the bass line. Instead of this, I did this. Both are awesome. Okay, now the last thing is this. You have inside your folder this idea of now you have a track to go and to play along with that song. How fun is that? Awesome. I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend. Download all of these charts and download your backing track and have fun with that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so now you have about 30 seconds to say goodbye to each other, so let's do that now. And Bill, good to see you again. Bill H. is our newest member at iMusicAcademy. And as always, whenever you become a member of iMusicAcademy, you don't just sneak off and nobody knows you're here. Everybody loves to celebrate you guys. Doesn't matter if you're a member of Chord Academy, All Access, or the YouTube channel, or you're just stopping by at the YouTube channel. We love to have you, and I want you guys practicing. And you guys know I've been writing out all these things right here, these crazy charts. They just keep going. And I've been handwriting just to work on my writing, but I'm also doing all these cool things, lines for transposition, and Sweet Home Chicago ideas that I did for you guys, and how to connect your lines. I mean, gosh, there must be 15 pages here. No, maybe not 15. Let's count them up as you guys say goodbye to each other. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages that all really started out of this one loop right here I did for you guys. Is this idea of getting your chord tones on downbeats. We did. All right, very good. So it's really all of your fault, all of yours faults. Have a great day, everyone. So, Dad, good to see you on the live. First on as well, we have Bill, a close second, and Vicky. We have Doug, of course, T-Man, Rick, Stan. It was good to see Stan today. And Doug, we got Rick, everybody, Gandalf, iMusicAcademy. Hugh checked in. George checked in. Very happy to see George today. And Hugh, of course. All right, guys, 10. I'm counting down from 10 as I take my last sip of coffee for the day. Hope you have a very awesome day. I will be looking at my email over the next few minutes to make sure everybody has access who should have access. And I never want not having access to be an issue. So have a great day. I'll see you soon. One more shout out to George. George has been one of the most faithful. I mean, you guys are all crazy faithful. George goes way back at iMusicAcademy, and I absolutely love when people are able to support everything we're doing. So thank you, George, and thank you to all of our iMusicAcademy members and our YouTube channel. We are definitely growing in the right direction. So see you soon.